we still have to act. Every 0.1 degrees C that we stop is vital because it stops dangerous climate change becoming cataclysmic.
It's effectively a form of genocide on the young people and the people of the global south. It's going to cause far more wildfires, droughts, heat waves. We're seeing the effects right now.
Just Stop Oil has become a household name, featuring daily in news reports across the country and sometimes internationally. And whether you hate them or love them, they're here to stay and will do almost anything to get their message across. The group brands itself as an environmental activist group operating in the UK. They were founded on the 14th of February 2022 and shortly began protesting at English oil terminals in April the same year. Their protesting methods mirror those of Extinction Rebellion and Insulate Britain, two similar environmental movements that you may have also heard of, all of which have been heavily criticised for their controversial methods of protesting.
Disruption for disruption's sake is completely unacceptable. I agree with you there. Under normal circumstances, this would be unacceptable. But as you've heard, we're not under normal circumstances. We're facing climate breakdown. We're facing a form of genocide right now. So, of course, we are going to express that anger by going onto the streets, as history has shown us everyone does.
I mean, on the one side, you have slight inconvenience, and on the other, you have the collapse of society. What do you think people would prefer if they were asked? Be an hour later for work, or see your kids dying when they're 30 years old because of the society is beginning to fall apart? I think they probably choose put up with the inconvenience.
On their website, they explain they are a coalition of groups working together to ensure the government commits to halting new fossil fuel licensing and production.
Just Stop Oil was founded because we need to end all new oil and gas licenses. It's as simple as that. By opening up these over 100 new oil and gas licenses the government are trying to push through, it's effectively a form of genocide on the young people and the people of the global south. It's going to cause far more wildfires, droughts, heat waves. We're seeing the effects right now. There's thousands of fish dead on the shores of the UK, of Thailand, of Texas. The US is still recovering from this wildfire smoke from Canada. People can't leave their homes.
The group's arguably two most well-known protests were at the King's coronation and the 14th of October, where two protesters threw tomato soup at a version of Vincent van Gogh's sunflower artwork in the National Gallery. But why are they doing this? When we spoke to Bill Maguire, he emphasised the importance of climate action and what will happen if we don't act now.
We have to stop using high carbon fuels. We just have to. Because if we don't, we're going to be in really serious trouble in as little as 20 to 30 years. I mean, one projection for 2050 is that the world will need 50% more food. Because of climate breakdown, crop yields will be down 30%. That means we've only got half the amount of food each on average across the planet. That's a recipe for the collapse of society in 27 years' time. That's how serious things are. And that's just one aspect of climate breakdown. So we shouldn't be saying, should we stop using oil, gas and coal? We have no choice. We have to do everything possible to keep it in the ground. You mentioned the Canadian wildfires. The area that's been burnt so far this year is 11 times the average. So this is absolutely certainly caused by climate breakdown, by global heating. And you could do something called an attribution analysis now, which can prove that this is the case. This is happening somewhere on the planet day after day after day, extreme weather that wouldn't otherwise happen. And it's a picture of the world we're going to have to live in, because we're not going to be able to stay below the dangerous climate change guardrail now, which is a 1.5 degrees C global average temperature rise. So we will be facing dangerous climate change that will affect everyone, insinuate itself into every aspect of our lives right across the planet. So, we have to face that fact, but we still have to act. Every 0.1 degrees C that we stop is vital because it stops dangerous climate change becoming cataclysmic.
On the day of the King's coronation, 6 of the protesters were arrested following new anti-protesting laws that were initiated in the UK on the 3rd of May. The Public Order Act 2023 was announced in the Queen's speech May 10, 2022, and after months of debates, amendments to the bill and voting in the House of Commons, it was finally passed to receive royal assent and became an Act of Parliament on the 2nd of May 2023, commencing on the 3rd. According to the Public Order Bill, anyone logging on, going equipped to log on, or interfering with key national infrastructure can be seen as a breach of this bill. The maximum penalty for committing an offence of this nature can be up to 3 years imprisonment or an unlimited fine, or both. But it's still possible to take part in activism without the risks of fines.
Well, everybody needs to be an activist. Everybody needs to be out on the streets. They don't all have to glue themselves to something. There are lots of roles for people in Just Stop Oil, in Insulate Britain, in Extinction Rebellion. There are lots of jobs for people to do. And if they get involved, they will feel far more positive. They'll feel they're doing something, and they will be doing something. And there's a new organisation that's just been launched yesterday called the Climate Majority Project, which is designed to get people who don't, for some reason or another, want to join Just Stop Oil or Extinction Rebellion, but still want to do something. But it has to be a ground-up movement, because nothing is happening at the top at the moment.
Everyone, before taking action with Just Stop Oil or Extinction Rebellion, has to go through a non-violence training first. It's a full day training, and you meet with other people in the community. It's a really nice day, actually. You get lunch in between, and you get to know the people you're taking action with. There's also support for people coming out of police stations. There's legal support. There's financial support. We try and make it as easy as possible for people to take this kind of action.
Just Stop Oil claims all their funding is through donations, with it being reported in April 2022 that their primary source was via donations from American-based Climate Emergency Fund. And in recent months, Adam McKay and Dale Vince promised to double donations for 24-hour periods.
Just Stop Oil is funded, one, by ordinary people donating in a monthly amount, however much they like. 2, the fines are sometimes paid by people, but also by that sum of money from people donating in. And 3, by richer people, such as Dale Vince, Adam McKay, and the Climate Emergency Fund. We've had a small amount from, it's decreased recently. So there's quite a few different people that want to Just